Hi, Dr. Alessi. Welcome to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast.
Thank you very much, Julia. It's great to be here.
Yes, excited for our conversation. I think it's going to be some new stuff that we haven't brought to our listeners most recently. So I'm looking forward to our conversation. What I would love to do to start is, could you share with our listeners a little bit about what you're currently doing with your IHP certification? And then I would love for you to kind of share a little bit, or you can do that first, where you were at before you found IHP, what you were doing in the health and wellness space, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So maybe I'll answer them backwards if that's okay, because they're kind of more in order the way my brain works linearly. So before I discovered IHP and was practicing that, I was a chiropractor. So I was just doing the physical side of medicine, adjustments, decompression therapy, helping patients with pain, really. Working at a clinic that had functional medicine, I just had no experience with that until I started kind of immersing myself in it. It was at that point that I actually kind of like burned out. I had like an adrenal burnout, basically developed a thyroid condition that truly rooted back to a leaky gut. And so through testing, through evaluating, I was able to figure that out. And then I was able to resolve that for myself and completely heal using functional medicine. After that, I was like, okay, I need to help people with this. I need to learn this. So I was exploring the different options for how to do that. What certifications do I go back to school? Like, what do I do? I already had the chiropractic degree, but then that's when I found IHP and it resonated with me. I'd say solely because it's not just, hey, take a bunch of supplements or, hey, here's some drugs. It was the lifestyle piece that was being addressed. And a big part of my healing journey was stress, focusing on my stress, right? So that de-stress protocol that we all learn was the only way I healed. Was I had to eliminate what was causing the issue in the first place, physical, mental, emotional, all these stresses. So fast forward to today, 5 years later, I own and operate a functional medicine clinic in Tampa and directly weave that type of approach into my practice. I'd say that's the feedback we get from our patients is, wow, you're not just giving me more stuff to take. Oftentimes I'm removing, hey, you're taking 100 supplements you found online, Amazon, whatever. We need to do less. You're overwhelming the system. So, it's the holistic approach that we were talking about even before the show that, you got to know everything to be able to get someone in the right direction. Because if the lifestyle piece isn't addressed, maybe they're in a bad relationship, maybe there's things going on at home that are causing stress, that you're not going to out supplement that. You're not going to out diet that. Right. So every piece has an importance. And that's really where we focus on in our clinic. And we're helping a ton of people. It's been great to see.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that you kind of say, like, sometimes you remove stuff and then people are like, oh, you're doing something that I've never even come into contact with. I think as IHPs, because we're like so immersed in this world, in this community, we think that like everybody's doing it. It's saturated. But the times I hear, oh my God, even I've met with other functional practitioners and so much more than they've ever been able to help me with. Like, we truly are doing something special with the education that we have, because we're giving them like empowerment tools so that they don't have to rely on supplements. I always tell people, like, my goal is to keep you on as few as possible. And that means that we have to take out everything that's causing a hole in the bucket. The supplements are filling them up. But if like you got 15 holes in the bucket and everything's just leaking out, how do we patch the holes so that, we're actually filling you up instead of just, creating a Band-Aid?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you said the word empowerment there, and that is how we practice. So my goal is for every one of my patients to not need me at some point, right? Say, hey, I want to educate you on how to actually read your blood work, how to run your blood work, learn from it, and then be able to make decisions, changes to your lifestyle, to your diet, to your exercise, to then affect that down the line. So we educate highly on the front end. I'll spend an hour and a half with someone going through their blood work, explaining physiology. You're taking someone who has no idea, right? They look at an x-ray, is that my back or my neck? I'm like, okay, that's where we're starting, and I have to really educate, but they've never even heard of a hormone, right? So, but through the process of working with us, they come out on the back end of that empowered. And our tagline is your health in your hands, because it really is that. We want to pass this off. I don't want to be their doctor. I want them to be their doctor. And then, hey, I'm here to kind of guide you, right? Like I'm like the Gandalf, and they're more like the hero, the guy who takes the ring. So kind of funny analogy.
Yeah, it's because then they feel like they're not when someone's not relying on somebody else to tell them everything that they need to do, and they truly feel like they understand why they're doing what they're doing, it takes hold in a different way, because now the responsibility and the again, like the empowerment, I guess, is like the best word, of knowing that you are in charge of the direction. Like, this is all you. I'm going to educate you, I'm going to give you the tools, I'm going to give you the guidance, and then you're capable. Because I think all of us, there's times I think where probably we think we need, right, like the doctor with the this degree, or we need someone to fix us. But the truth is like we're our own best healer in that sense.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's that responsibility is the word. It's great when somebody, and then, the other thing is too, is that responsibility then ripples. It's a ripple effect, right? Like when you drop a stone in the water and it ripples outward and the whole lake has a wave in it now. And we've seen this. You take the mom who comes in overstressed and you help her make changes. Now what happens? She goes home and the husband's eating better. The husband's exercising now. Now the kids are eating better and the kids are moving. And you maybe just transformed an entire family by helping one person, right? Now they're telling their friends. And so that community effect of it is so awesome. And it's bigger than us, it needs to be us giving it to them to be able to do it on their own.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more. All right, what I would love to do, because kind of when we were chatting about what we were going to discuss, it seems like you have a real passion for business and growth, and I love some of your philosophies on kind of what you believe is important as far as business and retention, and acquiring clients and all of that. So I'm going to kind of just ask you some questions and pick your brain about business growth, and we'll structure things that way. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you kind of had to give one big business tip for maybe newer IHPs, or even IHPs who might be struggling to grow their business, maybe they've been doing this for a while and they're just not getting the amount of client retention or referrals that they're wanting, what is your kind of biggest strategy or piece of advice?
Yeah, I'd say there's kind of two parts to it. One is you've got to have a niche, even when I started in practice, I wanted to help everyone. Oh, I can help the mom, I can help the dad, I can help the grandpa, the kids, right? When you water down the message so broad, you don't help anyone because it's too loose and it's too flexible. So having like a specific niche, hey, we're gut health people. We focus on leaky gut, dysbiosis, and that's what we fix. Now that can translate into correcting hormones and metabolism down the line, and you will capture those people just organically, right? You help someone with their gut. Oh, my mom has this thing. Can you help? Right? You're going to naturally get that. The next piece to that is you have to focus on, so I'll kind of backtrack. When I started in business, I was focused on the selling aspect. Hey, I got to sell, right? I'm selling things. That's how you make money. I changed the word in our business. We don't say sale. We don't say close. We don't say any of that. We say help or serve. And when you're focused on serving someone, hey, how am I going to serve this person to the best of what they need and my ability? Then the whole sale thing goes out the window. They feel that energy, and it's very energetic transmission between you and this person you're helping. And so if you're not confident in what you do and you aren't there to serve people, you're there to make a check, that'll be known and people will feel it. And it's not going to be like, you might still make money, right? But it's not going to be as fulfilling down the line because you're there just to turn a check, and eventually you'll get tired of that and you'll kind of burn out. So I'd say it's number one is like, what is your purpose? Like that it always comes back to purpose.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think when we talk kind of about like the energetics of, a lot of these IHPs are running their own business, you're a business owner, and that takes a lot of time, mental energy, right? The burnout is so much less when you feel fully aligned and you are truly doing what you love and you feel like you're in your purpose, you're in alignment, you are authentic. It doesn't take so much energy to kind of like think about all like, okay, do I have these boxes checked? Is my strategy to sell, X, Y, and Z? I love that you kind of said it takes that pressure off because you are literally just here to help and serve, and the people that are meant to find you do and will, and your referrals are then it's almost like people who love someone else, like they want your goodness for them too. right? They're like, I want you to help my sister because I love her. And you clearly care about people, and you've cared so well for me that I want you to, work with my sister because I love her and I want something this good for her too, rather than, this person, knows, obviously you're knowledgeable and the knowledge is part of it. But truly, when like we refer someone or retain clients, it's because of that trust, like that factor that just like creates a relationship that human beings need and crave.
Yeah, we call them raving fans, right? And so everyone needs to leave our clinic with an experience. We train our staff on this and our team. You ever been to a restaurant that it was so good, and you walk out and you're like, man, I want to tell everyone about this place. You're not getting a kickback. You're not getting paid by the restaurant, right? You don't market for them. You just want to share that. And that's what that needs to be. The raving fan who you serve them so well, you've solved their issue, right? You did it ethically, that they leave your place and they're like, okay, how can I scream this from the mountaintop that everybody needs to go see these people, right? And that's kind of the environment we build within our clinic. It's very much patient first. We do our job, but like we're here for them. Like we're a service-based industry.
Absolutely. Yes. And it doesn't have to be perfect for that to happen. Like when you were talking about that, I actually like remembered this instance. There's a pizza place that is incredible near my house, and they messed my order up 3 times. Like 3 times in an hour. They kept forgetting to put my order in. There was a miscommunication. Anyway, long story short, I have starving kids at home. 90 minutes, I'm like standing here waiting for these pizzas. And the owner comes out from the back and he's like, listen, I am so sorry. He's like, go home, I will bring this order to your house. He had no idea where I lived. I could have lived 50 minutes away. He said, I will bring it as soon as it's done. Please go home. Let me know what your favorites are. You're going to come back and it's on the house, right? But he did. He literally showed up as the owner to my house with the pizzas, and it was not a perfect experience, but I will keep going back because like he made it right. And you could tell that he was like disappointed that it wasn't a great experience for me. And he was going to do everything that he could to make it right. And so I think like a good lesson is it is about how people feel. And you don't have to be perfect or know everything that Dr. Cabral knows to start and give people a really good feel good experience where they do want to keep coming back. They want to rave. They want to, talk to others about you and what you know. And I think a lot of us can kind of use the perfection as like, it's got to look so, it's got to look just so for it to be a really good experience. And I think as soon as people know that you care an awful lot about serving them and doing everything that you can to help, it's undeniable.
Yeah. And nobody's doing that, by the way, right? Like what that guy did, going out of his way to make the situation right. Nobody does that. Mm-hmm. Pizza Hut, Domino, like they would have just, sorry, like see ya, right? You're just another cog, versus that guy took ownership of that. Yeah, it was his business, so he cared more. And that's the other thing, right? Is like that ownership piece. Like how much do you care about what you're building to make that such an experience for that person? We do that. Like I can count on one hand because it's not all the time, but we've had patients where we've created maybe a program for them. Hey, in 6 months, we're going to have you here, and you go through the program. And to this point, they have to be involved. They have to do their piece, right? They can't just go slack off and then I take responsibility. So there's a good kind of two-way street there. But say they do everything they're supposed to, and maybe we are 10% shy of our goal. Hey, we're just going to treat you for free until we get there. Like we're going to make this happen, right? And people, when you say that, it's like you're so different. You're such an outlier in the industry because everyone else is just like, oh, it's actually more now, right? We didn't solve your problem, but now you owe us more money. So doing the right thing always pays off, even if in the moment you got to take a little bit, right? It pays off down the line, and long term will be better for you.
Yes. Yeah. And that really is like where people realize like you're in this because you care and this is your passion versus, looking to just like create as much financial revenue as possible. And we've said it a million times on the podcast. I'll say it 1,000,001, but no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. It's true with kids. It's true with adults, right? they want to know that you truly care about their outcome. And then they're going to kind of put in even more work, right? I think it's just human nature. You don't want to be a crutch for someone. You don't want to be a codependent relationship. But I think so many people more now than ever, since, people are working from home and there's more isolation and everybody's, on devices, having human connection and human accountability and kind of someone just like in your corner is really motivational for a lot of people.
Yeah. And kind of to your point, I want to talk about something there is not being afraid to like say it how it is sometimes too, like being firm with someone, right? You don't serve someone too if you sugarcoat it. Mm-hmm. Hey, John, yeah, you can, slack off every weekend and eat whatever. And you're going to be okay. Like, I'm not helping that person then, right? I'm kind of giving them like an out, if you will, versus if you're strict, like, hey, do you want these results? You have to do what I say. If you trust me, that is, right. And you want this to work, I require your buy-in as much as you're going to get mine. And so you have to create a relationship, and that comes with trust, building connection, and obviously you foster that. It's not like you get that right away, but it's equally, I put equal responsibility into their hands too. Hey, like, you have to be in as much as I'm in. I can't care more about their health than they do. That's basically what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those healthy boundaries. I think everybody internalizes that truly as love, like even kids, right? Kids act up when they feel like no one has, like, there's no leadership. So I'm going to like act up because I'm just anxious and like, who the heck is anybody in charge here? When you create a firm boundary with a client, I believe that whether they know it or not, they internalize it as like, okay, this person cares. This is like serious. This is a two-way street. This is going to be something that I'm going to get a lot out of if I put in my work because they're putting in theirs. And yeah, I think boundary setting is so important for creating a container where a client can really reach as many goals as they want to, because if you don't hold them accountable for their health and it's just your job to quote unquote fix them, yeah, it's just a crutch. Because like we said at the beginning of the show, it's their ultimate responsibility for the rest of their life. Because if they're relying on you, then they're not in control.
People want that leadership, and they do kind of want to be talked to like that, right? Like directly, like, hey, I'm going to tell you what to do. And it's funny the amount of times we relate how we talk to our patients to talking like children. So I got 2 5-year-old boys that are twins, and the amount of times I talk to them, I'm like, oh, this actually is how I just talked to Julie, who left earlier, right? Or whoever the patient is. You're saying something, you have to guide them, you have to lead them, communicate, like over communicate, because they don't know, right? They came to you for the answers, but they don't know what you know either. And so I don't like the term dumbing it down, but making it like understandable or palatable for them is really important. Because when you talk over people and you're over sciencey and you almost make them feel less connected, right? They feel like kind of disturbed by that. And it's not a good, like, it's not a good bridge. So being able to, hey, human level, we're 2 people, right? You share a story is great. If you have a health story, right? It comes up all the time because I had gut health issues, thyroid issues. That's what I treat. So it's always like, hey, I've been there, right? I can literally feel what you're feeling. I've had that. So this is how I heal mine and how I can guide you on to heal yours, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the relatability, like we always say, like kind of like being vulnerable in the sense of like, I've been there, you're offering your story as hope for them. If it was possible for me, it's possible for you. And at the end of the day, we're all just looking for the same thing, which is relatability, authenticity, and it truly is an energetic exchange. I don't believe that everybody understands it at a conscious level. And there are lots of people that just kind of like, pick practitioners based off of, the numbers after the letters after their name and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you meet with someone, right, you can feel whether they are passionate in it for, all the right reasons, for sure.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
And I do the same thing with kids all the time, because I believe that like adults, we are all just like, we all have the same core needs that stem from childhood. And a lot of the times, like, there's just a bunch of wounded adults walking around in adult bodies. And if you can meet an adult where they're at and, not think that like, just because they're an adult, they have to know everything, you're able to kind of connect with them in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yep. All right. So another kind of business question, because you're doing a podcast and obviously our interview here, but when you started your podcast, if others are listening and podcasting is something that they want to get into, do you have a suggestion there as far as like a business tip for podcasting?
Yeah, my podcast I use as just value. And so obviously I have a brick and mortar business. The podcast came as how can I just educate, right? I like the education piece. I like being able to share and teach people things that it's free, right? You don't need to pay for the podcast. Just go listen to it. Now, are they going to? Not all the time. So people need to take that, but it's value. How can you generate more value to people? That's business 101. It's like, if I can provide value, people will end up eventually paying for something. And so the podcast is completely free. I do it weekly. So it's consistent. They know what to expect. I started way too much. I was like paying a team to come produce and film and mic us up and all that stuff. And it was like, it ended up being like, I don't want to do this. So I dialed it back. I used this setup I got right here, got my microphone and my FaceTime computer. And that's it. And that's all that you need. People find the authenticity in that as well. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing nowadays that people online on social media, there was this phase over the last couple of years of hyper processed media. Everything's like quippy and quick, and there's words, and it's all this extra. And when I see stuff like that, it's almost like overwhelming. I kind of like skim over it. But when I see someone who's more or less just kind of in their thing, talking, and maybe they're sharing content that's valuable, it's less abrasive. And it's more likely for someone to sit and listen to that. So just being yourself, being real. People are doing like selfie things nowadays. They're just walking around taking a selfie, talking and providing value. And it's like, it is, right? It's valuable. So, I think to get started, you just get started. If you have a phone, you could do a podcast, right? You could literally film on an iPhone. So if you have something to say, then you just start getting it down. Now, you can enhance it by like having some level of a script ready with some pre-written type of notes or outline that you're going to utilize. Or some of the best ones are conversations. You talk with someone with shared experience, you share stories. People like that. I'd say my podcast is mostly educational. It's probably like 90% educational. I'm just going and giving information. Maybe there's some like chance of it's going to be entertaining, but it's not like funny, right? Like some of these comedy podcasts. So, then knowing what like niche you're falling into. Mine is a health dedicated, educational podcast, right? And that's what it is. So I stay in the lane. I'm not going out there and doing other silly things to, you kind of lose your audience, but it's consistency as well. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, value, eventually leads to something.
Yes. Yeah. And I like how you kind of said, a selfie, saying something just to like your phone, or it really is just about having a message that you're passionate about sharing and finding a way to share it, right? If you want to do it on your phone and you want to put it on stories but getting started is the only way to do it, right? Again, if you wait for I need the perfect mic and the team and the camera and it likely won't happen as quickly. And because I believe that like this work is not about me and it's about others. And there's people who need to hear what I have to say. They need my help, right? And so making it about others and not necessarily about yourself is a really good frame of there's someone out there that needs to hear this. And if I make this about like me and when I'm ready and how it all looks, they will delay in hearing the message.
Yeah. And, I'd say you can get stuck sometimes. And I had this early on, like almost like the imposter syndrome. I was like, man, like I'm on this podcast. Am I like qualified to do this? Like, I know I'm a doctor, but like, is this message good? And I wasn't getting a ton of follows. I was probably like 2, 3, 4 months in. But I got good feedback from a friend who was like, dude, just stay the course. Like, you're doing good stuff. And then one day had a friend of a patient. So a patient sent the podcast to a friend because they thought it was relevant. He listened, he emailed me, found my emailed me, Dr. Alessi, I need your help. My gut, blah, blah, blah. Came in, we did some testing. We ended up taking him through this like 4-month, it was actually very much the CBO approach, 4-month gut remedy for him, changed his life. Like guy was a whole new person. And it's because the podcast, right? That was the segue. So, again, not that it was to get money from it. It was to help someone. And so, I didn't go into it for that reason. I went into it like, how can this help somebody? And then that's just organically what comes from doing it the right way.
Yep. Yes. And again, to the point of like, if you had never made that podcast, right, and somebody wasn't listening and never sent it to him, he would never even know that someone doing what you're doing exists. And and that guy needed your help.
Yeah, for sure.
So kind of like on the same topic, as far as like, I hear all the time, like, how do I get clients? It's so hard, to get clients and acquire clients. IHPs are like, is it social media? Is it, what are the ways that you believe? And my guess is maybe it's more than one and it's probably obviously sharing your message, but can you talk a little bit about what you believe is the most beneficial way to kind of like get yourself out there in the sense of, from a business standpoint?
Yeah, it depends. If you're telehealth only, that poses its challenges, right? But you can still attract people in similar ways. Or if you have brick and mortar, that's a whole nother thing. So you can, there's paid advertising, there's organic, which is more like your social media. One of the best things I ever heard was when I was early on, a friend of mine who's a doctor, he said, you could be the best doctor in the world. You could have the cure to cancer. If nobody knows where you are, you're not helping anyone, right? And so you have to advertise or you have to market yourself. I'd say having an online presence is important because if somebody comes across your page and your social media, I hate it, but it is the way it is now. It looks not clean. It's kind of the, poor quality or anyway, right? It's not touched up. Then they're going to maybe be like, oh, I don't know, right? People judge based on that. So having like good aesthetics on your media, which there's all kind of free tools. You don't need to pay someone for that. But then we call them verticals, right? So like we have our paid verticals, which is we run Facebook ads, we run pay-per-click Google ads. We have our organic verticals, which is like we do events. I go to talks, right? I'll go into a business. And this is how I built my practice. I would literally walk into a CPA's office or a lawyer's office with 30 people in the bullpens. And I'd say, hey, what do you guys struggle with health-wise? Oh, we all got back pain because we're sitting all day. And I come and talk to you guys for like 15 minutes about back pain and ergonomics and maybe do an audit of your business, see how I can help you guys. For free. Like I'll bring you guys lunch too. And I go in there, I bring them some lunch, I talk for 15 minutes, value, right? And then on the back end, there's maybe a call to action. Hey, if you want more help, this is actually what we do in our clinic. Here's a discounted new patient visit. And you drive people in the door that way, right? It's give to receive. And so that's more of an organic strategy. And then I think like the online presence and then referrals only work if you ask for them. I know we talked about being like the raving fan thing, but like that has to be built over time. But people are too afraid to ask for referral. Hey, if you found value in this, would you share this with someone somebody, do you know anyone? And you just ask for it. Everyone knows somebody. So eventually someone will come up, oh, my brother hurt his leg. He's going to come in, right? And so it ends up being over time, top of mind. We call it TOMA, top of mind awareness. You just got to be that person that they think of as soon as somebody gets hurt or gets sick. Oh, I'm going to send them over to doc, right? But the reason we have multiple verticals and you have to do them all is because say you're only doing those lunch and learn events. What happened when COVID happened? Those got shut down. Nobody was doing them. Nobody was letting people come in their business anymore. It was weird. And then Google became the thing. Everyone's running on ads on Google, but then it got really expensive to run ads on Google because everyone was doing it. So then you jump over to Facebook, you start running Facebook ads. Then Facebook for chiropractic is so watered down. It's so competitive. It's like you have to have different places where you're drawing people from. Then you get creative, you go Yelp or one of these other like offshoot ones. So having multiple channels to drive people to your business.
Yes. Yeah. And I think too, it kind of keeps it, for a lot of us, it kind of keeps it, like less boring too. Like doing like a lunch and learn is different than, being at home and doing lots of videos for social media, right? You're able to kind of like get the social aspect and still do the stuff at home. And so you don't get burnt out from like kind of repeating the same consistent, type of strategy too. I think it kind of keep it fun for you as a business owner. So it doesn't get to the point where it feels like it's monotonous work, as well.
Yeah. And then there's the concept of the multiple touches, right? It might not be you meet somebody once and they come in. You go do a lunch and learn and they heard about you now. So they follow you online. They see a couple of your videos. They subscribe to your newsletter now. They've gotten a couple of your emails. That value is being built, right? And so you're nurturing this kind of what we call like top of funnel, right? And if for anyone who doesn't know, the funnel when it comes to sales and marketing is like when they're up here, they don't know who you are. As they go through that funnel, you're building more credibility to the bottom when that's now a paying person. So they have to go through the steps, but again, I think it's on average is like 7 touches that it takes to get someone to actually come into your business. So, whatever that looks like, an in-person, a few posts, a couple podcasts they listen to, eventually, okay, I need to go do this and see this guy. Right.
Yes. Yeah. And you're building that like know and trust, even if you don't know they're watching your stuff. Again, just trusting that by sharing your value, however you choose to do that, is what is, touching those who need to hear it. And however many times they have to hear it before they kind of reach out to you is right. An important part of the process. And I love the fact that you said like you have to ask for referrals. I've worked for Dr. Cabral for many years. I actually started by personal training in his studio a long time ago.
Yeah, cool.
Say how long, because it's going to make me sound really old. But I always felt so uncomfortable doing it, but it always worked. And he would be like, "You're not going to get a referral unless you ask. You might." And I did get referrals without asking. He was like, "But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take." And so asking for referrals, I think like some people can think that it like seems desperate or it seems, but the truth is if you word it in the sense of like, I'm just looking for more people to help. I have some openings in my schedule. If you know anybody who could use the services that I have, feel free to send them my way. It doesn't have to be like a super uncomfortable situation. And it does work a lot of the time.
Yeah. The only time it doesn't work is if you didn't create value. If you have an inferior product, if you didn't help them or something wasn't there, you ask for a referral, they're going to be like, well, you didn't really help me. So it's, you don't really ask for referral on the front end, right? You just met them. You haven't even served them yet. So like you have to build some level of credibility, but maybe you solve their issue and then it's, hey, who do you know that needs your help too? We always take people through like a graduation, right? They finish with us. We have them take a picture with a little plaque that says I graduated pain free or symptom free, whatever. And that's when you ask for it. We say you ask for a referral or a review at the highest point of satisfaction, right? That patient just left there feeling, oh my gosh, doc, you really just released something. I haven't had pain in like 4 weeks now. That's awesome. I'm glad you're doing so well. Hey, do you know anyone else in pain? Right? Perfect time to ask for it. And then the other piece is people will buy at the lowest point of deprivation, right? They're in a critical place where it's like, hey, I either make a change or I don't know what the future holds. That's when they're going to make a decision or when the cost of staying the same is more than the cost of making a change is when they're going to do something.
Yep. Yeah. Tony Robbins, I feel like said something similar that like we make choices based on like what's causing the most pain. Like if it's more painful to stay the same, which I think is what you just said, then like that is what evokes change versus like it's more painful. The thought of changing is more painful than staying the same. That's like where you get that, ambiguous type of behavior or buy-in. But yeah, when someone's like, okay, this is no longer bearable.
Yeah, it's called opportunity cost, right? Someone comes in and I present them a program that's maybe $5,000, $6,000. Hey, this is going to fix you. Is it worth more to do that? Or is it worth more to stay the same and this get worse? And then maybe I can't help you and you have back surgery or you have, some type of chronic illness that's uncurable, right? So, but the other piece of that, it's our job as providers to make sure people are aware of that. And that's, in sales, I train my staff and what I trained on is what we call persuasion, which is different than convincing. Okay. So like convincing is me saying like, hey, Julia, you got to come with me. And like, I try to get you to do something that you don't want to do. Hey, you got to come do this. Persuasion is trying to get someone to do something they want to do or they know they need. They're just not sure yet of how to get there or that it exists or that it's real, right? So you have to kind of persuade that person to take action. And that's a positive thing. And I think it can get a negative spin because if you come across as this salesy person, you're just trying to get them to do what you want. It's like, no, what do you actually want? If I know your goals, here's how I get you there. Now, how do we take the first step, right?
Yes. Yeah. And truly believing that someone needs that. If someone wants to lose 20 pounds or get rid of bloating or get rid of back pain, they might not know how to do it. And they might know that that's what they want, but they do need the education as to here's how I can help you. Here's how this would be beneficial. And this is what I offer. And it's not being salesy, it's truly being of service. And so kind of spinning it in your own head to understand that, yeah, I'm not trying to convince or create some sort of buy-in from this, but if those are all the things they want and you have the solution, let them know. And that's like the piece of it that they would be missing otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
If people are listening and they kind of wanted to connect more and, connect further with you, where are all the places that you show up? So social media or websites or?
Yeah. So our clinic is Ascend Functional Health in Tampa, Florida. So it's just ascendfunctionalhealth.com. You can learn more about us there. My podcast is called Health Decoded. And the focus is really taking things that are maybe people are unaware of and really kind of break it down more of the physiological piece, the science, kind of opening it up for people to understand educationally. On Instagram, I'm Dr.Alessi, and then our practice is Ascend Functional Health on there as well. We post mostly, again, educational stuff and stuff about what we're doing in the office, patient stories, testimonials, always sharing those kind of things, the wins. But yeah, and I actually had one time or a couple of times some IHPs reach out to me for, some feedback on kind of how I'm operating. One actually asked me if I was hiring, which was cool. I was like, wow, I feel special, but I'm here to help. So if anyone's maybe just getting into this, they're new, you can reach out to us on the website too. So just contact us there and I'm happy to provide value.
That's great. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I think this was such a valuable interview and I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Take care.